Good friends, and welcome to the Temple of Light Center for Spiritual Living. This is our Tuesday evening spiritual mind healing service. My name is Sandra Cooper, and it is a joy for me to bring the message this evening. But before we begin, let us just, settle for a few moments of quiet meditation. So I ask you to close your eyes just for a moment. And take a deep breath in and exhale. And breathe in again and exhale. Breathe in. Take a deep breath in. And exhale. Take a deep breath in again. And exhale. And as we breathe in and out, knowing that we breathe in the breath of God, that life-giving presence, that life-giving breath, let us just know together that this breath is God. This breath is that which animates and just inspires every cell and fiber of our being. It is that which allows us to live and move and fully express in that one that we know as God. And so we are grateful to know that this breath is a very life force that we are. And we are truly grateful that we are here this evening to participate in this experience that we call a healing service. And we truly are grateful for the collective consciousness of each person present. And we know that we are open and receptive to the presence, the power, the guidance, and the wisdom of God. And so I release these words now, just knowing that all is well because God is here. God is present. We know this, we believe this, we accept it. And we release these words to that law which acts upon it, making it our divine experience. I'm grateful that all this is so now. And so it is. Is everyone hearing me well?
Yes, we're hearing you.
Awesome. Welcome, everyone. I'm going to share a little bit with you this evening. I remember, and maybe you can try and recall with me, when I was a little girl and the image of God that I had. Do you remember the image of God you had as a child? I learned that I would only get to see God if I was a good little girl, so that when I died, I would get to go to heaven. Then I would see God. I learned that he was an old white man with a beard who was up there looking down on me and seeing every single transgression, which I believe helped to foster a sense in me of deep not enoughness. And I struggled with this feeling for many, many years. As a child, I was very creative, always singing and acting and dancing and making up stories and creating mud pies decorated with bougainvillea and hibiscus flowers. And I also would jump off of ledges and the parapet on the veranda, pretending to be a superhero. Actually, I did believe I was Wonder Woman. Sadly, however, my preference for extroversion as a child was crushed very, very early, as I was told that nice girls don't behave that way. Nice girls don't jump from ledges. So I would get a spanking just because I was lively. So instead of being proud and happy to express my natural creativity, I became withdrawn and afraid. And I sought hard to express my growing imagination. That was really a challenge. I would end up writing all kinds of stories about, getting in my transponder and going, having moon mice mince for breakfast and, going to a chamber and it would whip me up a new outfit. Oh man, it was wonderful. So I'm so grateful that I discovered truth because it kind of set me straight. All of that changed, and I learned that the presence of God permeated all of life and creation, including little old me. I got that I didn't have to wait to die to go to heaven to see God. I could have God sightings in every single moment of my life, if I wanted to, of course. So, friends, this evening, I will share some thoughts on how you can become aware of and increase the God sightings in your own life. A God sighting is a moment when you experience God in all of its glory. It is the awareness of God's presence in everyday moments. And I'm going to share a few examples with you. Let me just come out of this for a moment. I'm going to just, there we go. So one of the first things I want to share with you is the Pui. This is one of my absolutely most amazing God sighting. I just remember one morning when I was really in a hurry to get to where I was going, and I was late, and I hurried into my car and headed out, and almost on every side of the road, every couple of yards was a blooming tuit tree. And it was just absolutely amazing, all the way down Richings into Paddington. Oh, it was so absolutely beautiful. So for me, seeing the tuit tree in perfect bloom is a God sighting. Another one that comes to mind is the red poinciana. I mean, when it is in absolute full bloom, nobody can tell me that that is not God. That is not the hand of God expressing as this red poinciana tree. Now, anybody who has been to Treasure Beach or anywhere else where you have ever seen a sunset up over on the horizon behind the sea, is one of the most beautifully captivating things ever. And this is a photograph that I took some years ago when I was working on a project in St. Elizabeth, and we went over by Jake's and went for a walk on the beach, and the sun was setting, and it was just so special. I actually stood on the beach and I cried. It was so perfect. Another thing that fascinates me is to watch ants. Watch ants pick up morsels that might seem tiny to us, but in comparison to the size of the ant, you can see that that is something that is as big as, if not almost bigger than, what the ant looks like. The next thing, this is a piece of honeycomb. And I'm very present to it because a couple of years ago, bees took up residence underneath my bathtub in my home. They made their way in from the outside of the home through a hole, and they took up residence. And we got an awful lot of honey from that experience. I also had a trip to the emergency room that if I didn't get there when I got there, I wouldn't be making this message today. Thank God for that. Oh, I don't know if any of you would know me long enough to know that this is Kevin, maybe before he was a year old, laughing because he was such a happy baby. And looking at him just brought tears of joy to my eyes every time. This picture now is a picture of me, my first experience of snow. And this was for me another wonderful God sighting, because seeing snow for the first time was something that really took me away. And I actually was jumping for joy, as cold as I was in that experience. But the next picture I'm going to show you is not bringing as much joy. And it's a picture of great vulnerability on my part. Because, friends, the God sightings are not only in the happy moments. Let me quickly share this one. Take a deep breath now. This is a picture of me the same afternoon that I fell. I'd gone for a walk. This is during COVID in 2020. And I'd gone for a walk up in Hope Pastures. And I think I was gazing. My foot fell off of the pavement, and I stumbled and fell and hit my face. I developed a huge, what they would call contusion, what we know as a coco. It was on this side, my right eye, and it closed. I couldn't open my eye for 2 days. And why is this a God sighting? Because by the following week, all of that distortion had cleared. My vision was fine. I had gone and done an MRI. My head was fine. Everything was fine because God was happening in that moment. So even though I was uncomfortable and it looked horrendous, God was at work, and I was so happy for that. No, do I need to say any more? What we've been experiencing over these past few weeks in terms of the heat, as the thermometer moves up and up and up, sun seems to get hotter and hotter and hotter. Can you imagine sighting God in all of this? I've heard somebody say, oh, it's good for the complexion. I might question that a little bit, but hey, what can I tell you? I think that's about it for that. But I just wanted to share with you a little bit of those God sightings, at least for me. Let me just look in the yes, Dawn, for snow for the first time. Yes, so it's really awesome when we can think about all the ways in which we are able to see God. Okay, so another God moment that I can recall that I'll share with you. This is a real story now, and there's no picture to depict this one. I was headed down to the Supreme Court one morning. I missed my turn and got lost in trying to find a car park. In my anxiety, I mounted the sidewalk on the street I was driving on, and trying to reverse now, I blocked the path of a taxi man. You know, with the reputation of taxi men. And this man threw some choice expletives at me, after which he shouted, "How well do you?" Well, I didn't know what to say. So in my most sheepish, damsel in distress voice, I replied, "Alas." The taxi man, I just saw him soften and him bust a laugh. And him say, "All right, follow me, follow me." And with that, he led me straight to the parking garage opposite the courthouse at the Supreme Court. That, to my mind, friends, you know, I could see the shift in his tone, in his attitude, and in his gift of generosity. I saw that that was definitely a God sighting. So I want you to just now tell me, write it in PowerPoint, sorry, write it in the chat. What are some of your own experiences of God? In one sentence, very quickly, what are some of your own God sightings? Let me see what's here now. When have you been fully present to the power, the glory, the majesty of God? All right, let's see this. Van says, the heat makes me say, OMG. Gotcha. Gotcha. Because if it's all God and it's all good, then the heat is part of the OMG. Oh my God. What else? When else do you see God? Thank you for that, Vance. When wow, dawn again. Every time you see the Pui bloom yearly. Okay. It really bowls us all over. Carol, Carol says, well, you know, you all know how often me lost. Every time there is an angel and a God to guide me. Very much so. Totally get that, Carol. Jennifer says, in the blooms of the Ponciana trees, definitely. What else? Okay. So I'm gonna just, you know, if any more comes up, I will get to that. But friends, they say that we must stop and smell the roses, and I absolutely concur. You know, many of us tend to coast through each day, focusing on completing and competing tasks, outing fires, avoiding some people, while blaming and complaining about what isn't working or not working so well. I just became aware today how much that I talk about the heat to everybody. And you know, it just dawned on me that the more I'm talking about the heat is the more hot I'm going to feel. You know, I was very happy working from home. And I have a couple of sessions next week. And I'm saying to the person, find a little room for me. I'm coming down there. Because by 11 o'clock, I am drained. I want to go back to bed, but I can't go back to bed because the bed is hot. So anyway, in spite of that, I am choosing to no longer talk about the heat. So I'm going to suggest that why don't we instead just take a few moments to pause so that we can see the wonder of God's glory spreading its abundance before us. Wouldn't that be something? What if we were to make a commitment to look for God in every situation daily? From that blade of grass that you see growing through the crack in the sidewalk, to the majesty of the numerous high-rise buildings that are coming up. There is one at the corner in my community at Ligonier Avenue and Hope Road. And I mean, I just watched it go from they were digging the foundation in the ground and layer upon layer upon layer. It just has been amazing. Right? See God in the love and the warmth of friends or family, or even in the dissent and disagreeableness we experience from time to time. We need to be grateful for those people in our lives who show up for us as teachers and sages. And we will definitely see more of God's presence and its manifestation in our lives when we can see people as God sees them. So as you begin to become more present, you will begin to see God looking back at you in the eyes of children, people's kindness, through music that stirs your soul, demonstrations of answered prayer. Maybe someone showing up at your doorstep or in a telephone call, just as you were thinking of them. In every moment, see yourself in the presence of God, and you will be surprised how your perception of a so-called difficult situation or circumstance changes. It is a great feeling to be able to shift from fear and worry to being appreciative of the bounty of Spirit's presence appearing in everything and everyone. When life is good and things are going well, when you aced that test or land that job, just take a moment and just rejoice and be grateful for the abundant flow of God's blessings. And in the same breath, when the opposite happens and times seem tough, open yourself to the guidance of Spirit and for healing, as Proverbs 3 verses 5 and 6 say. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all ways acknowledge him and he will make straight your paths. End of that. So God's sightings are healing and distract you from worry, making you present to what is truly important in each and every moment. You've got, though, to pay attention. The God moments will pass us by if we are not conscious and aware. It doesn't have to be a scenery. In the challenging moments, you can stop and ask yourself, what am I to learn from this experience? Who am I being called to be? Or what am I being called to do? How can you have a God sighting in the midst of life's calamities? Think about that and answer that question. In this month's Science of Mind magazine, our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, asks a question: where is God? He says, and I quote, when we look about and see the great array of things that this intelligence is doing, the tree, the plant, the animal, the sunset, we realize that this intelligence flows into everything and makes it what it is. Everything, all these things are God sightings. So our practice should always be the affirmative or the affirmation of the divine presence everywhere, flowing through everything and making everything what it is. And it's also flowing to you and to me and through us, causing the things we think about to react to us in the way that we think about them. End of that quote. So the question is, what is God currently doing in your life? What changes are you seeing? Are you meeting new people, finding new friends, overcoming a health challenge perhaps? What about looking for a new job or finding a new direction for your business? Whatever you are going through, friends, notice what God is doing in it. How he brings the right people and the right situations at the right time. And look and see how all of that just comes together so beautifully. Be clear about your God sighting and lift up your consciousness in gratitude in every moment.
Opportunities will come and they will go for a reason, either to strengthen you or to help you. We need to be grateful regardless of what is occurring. So as we navigate the next few weeks, perhaps during this period of heat, I invite you to share your God sightings, share with each other. You know, it's an opportunity to uplift rather than to go with the doom and gloom. And just the ways you see God in the world at work as a measure of hope and encouragement for all. May the God sightings shared remind us all of the wonder and hope of our amazing God. Namaste. All right, friends, what comments do you have? Questions in the next couple of moments? Let me see, there are some other God sightings that came up. Carol is talking about her little doggy. Yes, Peanut looking up at me and wagging his tail in total love. Wow. Dawn again, the trees and flowers in bloom at Temple. I want to reach out and touch, indeed. Reverend Michael, like you, I see God in nature, sunsets, flowers, and unexpected kindnesses, music, animals at play. Thank you. You're welcome, Carol. You're most welcome. So, questions? I read about God sightings from Petra Weldes and Christian Sorensen. This one of the trilogy of books they have called Joyous Freedom. And I think it was a writing I saw maybe about 3 days ago. And I thought it would be a good thing to share, because if we keep looking with eyes of love and looking with eyes that are expecting to see God in every moment, you know, even in the not so good, you know. And I said, do I share that picture of my battered face? What will people think? And I said, I don't care, because that was a real human experience. And the very fact is that the minute I had that blow, when I fell, God got to work immediately, starting the healing process. Now, ain't that something? Okay. All right. If there are no further comments or questions, do share what you'd like for us to pray with you around this afternoon. Just write in the chat. Anything on YouTube, Vance?
No, Sandy.
Okay, thanks. All right, so just share very quickly the areas that you want us to work with you. I think there was a request, if you just allow me a minute to go to my phone. I think there was a request coming in the practitioners group. Let me just find that very quickly. Practitioners. Here we go. I did get a request to just pray for light and guidance for the family of Dr. Sonia Williams, who lost her 105-year-old grandmother just this morning. And order and right action in the business affairs of Rosalie Goodman. Okay, let me come to the chat. I need to make Reverend Michael, I hear you. Pray for rain. Carol, right action. And that's for Rosalie as well. And the new minister. Dawn for help. And for Sonia and her family. Light. I think that should do it. And Dawn is thankful as well. Just make sure I have everybody. Okay. So I think I have everybody now.
I requested a prayer of health, Sandy.
I wrote it. Oh, for you as well, Jen? Okay,
Yes,
so
dear.
Dawn and Jen. Okay. All right, so let's do health first. This is an affirmative prayer of health for Dawn and Jennifer, and for anyone else who is open and receptive. We recognize that perfection that we know as God, that perfection which manifests as perfect health. That health now is the health of our being. That perfection, that wholeness that we know as God, now expresses in every cell and fiber of these two beautiful souls. And for anyone else who is open and receptive to these words. So I know for Jennifer and for Dawn, that the vibration of health is surging through every cell, fiber, and tissue of their wonderfully and beautifully made bodies. I know that every organ is functioning perfectly. Everything is connected, everything is working in divine order. And any energy that is not in alignment with health, wholeness, and perfection is now just dissolved into nothingness. It takes no root as the light and wholeness of God's presence takes hold and expresses in through and as them from the center of their beings to the circumference, from the tops of their heads to the soles of their feet. They're surrounded by, uplifted by, and by this divine presence of health. It allows them to thrive, to prosper, to breathe, to eat, to digest, to eliminate. I see the perfect functioning of every activity, and all is well. And so I know that this perfect health is that which expresses for Jennifer, for Dawn, for myself, and for everyone else who is receptive to it. And so it is with deep gratitude that I now release these words to that law which acts upon them and brings them into the fullest and perfect demonstration. I truly give thanks that all this is so known, and so it is. Okay. And I speak this word of light and love for Sonia and her family. Recognizing the presence and power of God, expressing as light, expressing as the presence of consciousness, the conscious awareness of the fullness and the eternality of life. And knowing that this presence is expressing in the spirit of Sonia's grandmother. It's expressing in the family right now. I declare and know that it shines its beams of understanding, of love, and of grace and poise as the family now navigates this time following the passing of their loved one. I know that for this wonderful soul that she moves on to her greater expression, lifted up by the divine presence, all of those who have gone before her, who have come to greet her and take her into that new place of perfect expression. And so I now know for Sonia and her family that they are surrounded by and uplifted by that divine presence, the love of God, the joy of God, the peace of God, the harmony of God, the allness of God is right where they are, and all is well. And so I know that whatever they need to know, whatever they need to do, they do so with love and harmony as they navigate the final ritual or send off for their loved one in only that space of peace and love and joy and light. And so knowing that this is a truth for Sonia and her family, I release these words with deep gratitude for their perfect fulfillment. I rejoice that this is so now, and so it is. And in this next affirmative prayer is for right action, for Carol, for Rosalie, and for our Temple of Light as we plan and prepare to receive our minister candidate. I'm knowing God present in all that is. I'm knowing that the presence of God is now expressing as perfect right action in all of our lives, specifically in the business affairs of Rosalie Goodman, for Carol's life, and indeed for beloved Temple of Light as we plan and prepare to receive the new minister candidate. I know that as we affirm God at the center, God at the circumference, we begin every activity with God. We know that God is at the helm, God is guiding us, God is providing the right resources for us. And so that whatever decision we have to make, whatever avenue we choose to navigate, I know that God is present with us. For Rosalie, I know that whatever aspect of our business affairs that is requiring support and resources and nurturing and uplifting, I know that Spirit knows exactly what needs to happen, what she needs to do, knows all the right persons that are involved in this process. And so I know that there is always a perfect outcome in everyone's business as we put God first and allow God to be the guide of our activities and events in everything, in all circumstances. I know for Carol, for her business affairs, for her personal affairs, God is absolutely present. Every decision that she makes, she's guided. She knows where to go, what to do, and who to call, and all is well. All the financial resources are provided. Everything that is needed comes to pass. And likewise, I know that the upcoming preparation and weekend for our new minister candidate, Reverend Michelle Senegal, I know that everything is in place. Her travel, her accommodation, her movement in and around Kingston as she goes from one activity to the other. For the workshop that she facilitates with our members on Saturday the 22nd, and for the Sunday morning service on Sunday the 23rd. I'm knowing that everything is in perfect order. And so everyone involved can rest assured that God is at the helm of this experience. And so there's nothing to be concerned about because we are guided to make the right decisions in the right way at the right time. I know that this is a truth. And in the fullest confidence, knowing that God is indeed the spearheader, the navigator, the executor of all of our activities. I can just rest assured, as I know, just surrender and release my word to the law, knowing that Spirit acts upon it, and it is now our perfect experience. I know this as a truth, and I let it be so, and so it is. Oh, we see God in all things. And so in this affirmative prayer of perfect rain, perfect weather, we give thanks and know that God is in every aspect of the expression of this planet. From the Arctic to the Antarctic, across the reaches of the Sahara and across and around the globe, from north to south, from east to west, in every weather system, in every pattern of expression, in all nature, I know that there is God and only God. And so right now I declare and know that all of the ingredients for the conspiration or the conspiracy of weather patterns, of clouds and all kinds of troughs and currents and whatever happens up there, it is not my place to know. I just am declaring that whatever needs to happen in our atmosphere to bring rain is now taking place. And so I declare and know that the universe is indeed unfolding as it should. And we open ourselves to welcome torrents of rain falling in the right way, safely, comfortably, filling our water catchment facilities and providing water for our gardens and just to cool our beautiful earth. And so I'm grateful for this rain. I feel it already. I smell the earth as it comes at me with that first sprinkling of rain on the dusty earth. I declare it and I know it. And I accept that rain is our experience now. And so accepting this rain as that which comes from the divine givingness of Spirit, I release my word in the fullest assurance that it is accomplished and all is well. We truly are grateful for all the blessings that come to us, through us, and as us. I give thanks that this is so now. And so it is. Okay. Awesome. Okay. So as we wrap up our evening's activity, I just want to remind you, friends, that, you can join Reverend John every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for quiet moments in the garden. It's a wonderful service that he continues to provide on a Monday morning, Wednesday, and Friday at 6 a.m. Okay, so you can join on facebook.com, Temple of Light CSL /live. And you want a little midday pick me up. Join Reverend Ann every morning at noon for Noon Bites. Just that little whisper of Spirit's message that you can take for the rest of the day. And of course, this Thursday at 6 o'clock, the last Thursday of the month it's at 5, but this Thursday coming, it will be at 6. I invite you to come and join us and be lifted up by the transformative power of God's love, light, peace, and joy. And this is a prayer power at 6 on a Thursday. And of course, you can find the Zoom link on our Facebook page. Friends, one of the most powerful avenues of support that I got in this community was through the attendance of classes. I can't begin to tell you how valuable classes are, but then I know I'm speaking to the converted. Everyone here has attended classes in the past. But for any of you who are listening, just give us a call. You know, the details are at the link, classes.templeoflightcsl.org, to get our schedule of the classes that are running at this time. Powerful way to deepen your understanding of the science of mind. And this Sunday, of course, is our live stream with Reverend Ann as a speaker. So we do invite you to join us Sunday morning at 9. You get the link, a message that we send out on Saturday and on Sunday morning to join us for our live stream Sunday morning service.
It's Reverend Michael, though, Sandy, not me.
Oh, okay. All right. I saw it as third Sunday. All right. So Reverend Michael will be the speaker this Sunday. Awesome. Next week, who is on next week, Tuesday, Reverend Ann?
Oh,
not sure.
not sure.
Well, either way, friends, just stick it in your calendar. This is a standing.
I will be on next Tuesday, Sunday.
Oh, Jen, wonderful. So do join practitioner Jennifer Livingston, who will bring the message and some, just a reminder through the wonderful prayer work that she will do of whose we are. Okay. So that's Jennifer Livingston next Tuesday at 6. Before we move to that, I'm inviting all of you to make a special note in your calendars of the visit of Reverend Michelle Senegal next weekend. She's coming in on Friday, and she'll be doing a very special workshop on Saturday from 1 to 3. Is that correct, Reverend Ann? It's 1 to 3?
Yes, that's correct.
Yes, we really, really want to have you attend because, the selection of our new minister is not something that is a unilateral thing. It's something that we want all of our members to be part of. So coming on Saturday, 1 to 3, she will do a workshop. What's the title of the workshop again, Reverend Ann? Can you
Oneness Beyond Community, something of the sort.
Oneness Beyond Community. We
Beyond
want
the
to
beloved community.
Beyond, right, beloved community, yes.
say again.
Oneness. Yes, man, say it, finish it.
Oneness beyond the beloved community.
Okay, oneness beyond the beloved community. And this is an opportunity for you to put in, to give your feedback regarding how you feel about her as a fit for our community. We'll ask you to do the same thing on Sunday morning when she'll be bringing the message at our Sunday morning service. So do make it a point of duty and put it in your calendars. That's Saturday, July 22nd and Sunday, July 23rd. Okay. And if you feel moved to support our ministry here at Temple, please do feel free to donate at donate.templeoflightcsl.org. And we truly are grateful for your generosity and for helping us to be a beacon of light in the world. Oh, what a special place to be. So guys, as we make our love offering, now you're going to hit that donate button. But before you do, just put your hand on your heart and let's just say the blessing together. Lovingly I give, joyfully I receive. Be thou fruitful, increase and multiply. Bless, prosper and enrich everyone whom you touch and replenish all of my financial affairs. Thank you, Father. And so it is. And we will now, just together, raise our center through the sharing of the prayer of our center. The Temple of Light Center for Spiritual Living is a sacred field embodying our spiritual community from which the Christ, peace, love, and joy emanate to touch, to heal, to bless, to prosper, and to liberate anyone who comes into contact with it in any way. The light of the Christ illumines us, our center, and our environment. Our spiritual community is filled with and surrounded by the presence of God and is growing from strength to strength. The power of God expands our consciousness of truth, guiding us ceaselessly along the paths of wisdom, spiritual growth, unfoldment, and attainment. We are blessed, and to God be the honor and the glory forever. And so it is. And the prayer of Jamaica. The radiant light of God's love is now flowing through us and from us to everything and everyone it touches. The eternal light of God's love now completely fills, covers, surrounds our island Jamaica. The glowing intensity of the light of God's love now interpenetrates and awakens within the hearts and minds of our countrymen and women the truths of life which set free. The light of God's love is now growing and glowing in intensity in the hearts and minds of mankind everywhere. Love, health, harmony, goodwill, peace, uprightness, integrity, joy, prosperity, kindness, and our oneness under God are now established. And so it is. Friends, that's our spiritual mind healing service this evening. I am so glad that you chose to join us. Any last link before we close? Any last comment that you would like to make before we close? Okay. Just remember, next weekend, our visiting minister candidate will be here. So just please, and please call and tell your friends, those persons you haven't seen for a while, and invite them to come. There's no charge for the workshop on Saturday. So come and bring friends that you haven't seen for a while. We look forward to welcoming everyone. Oh, and so join me as we do our closing affirmative prayer. We're grateful for this opportunity to gather. We're grateful for the blessing of Spirit always expressing in through and as us. I'm knowing that for each one of us, we become more aware of the presence of God in all things, both that which is perceived to be large as well as the small. We know that God is in the magnificent. We know that God is in everything, in the storm and in the quiet. God is. And so we give thanks as our eyes become more aware and our heart opens to God's sightings, seeing in everything and everyone. And we know that all is truly well. We give thanks for this evening's time together. And we know that as we go forward, we go with God, we go with the light, we go with love, and our paths are made safe, secure, and easy. I release my word now to the law, knowing that it acts upon my words and they are now our absolute experience. I truly give thanks that all this is so, and so it is. Thank you all so much for coming. Thank you all for being a part of this experience. And I really invite you to look for your God sightings this week. All right? Namaste.